Should the San Francisco 49ers trade up into the draft and target one of the premier players in this class? We'll talk about that. Arik Armstead, did he get lowballed by the San Francisco 49ers? That's a pretty interesting debate. I've already seen all the comments piling up on the YouTube, Twitter, all the Instagram. So I'm very curious to get into that debate. And we got a lot of other stuff to talk about as well. So let's get into it all right now. But you guys already know the vibes. Dropping SDS in the chat. Smash that like button if you're watching on YouTube or wherever you're watching from. Smash that like button regardless. And let's talk. We got some spicy stuff to talk about. I think we're going to have some good debate here on the channel. And I'm looking forward to it all right now. Let's go. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. What is going down, Sourdough Squad? Good to have the SDS. Good to see everyone checking in. We got some stuff to talk about today. We are absolutely creeping more and more and more towards draft content. So I would say probably once this week is concluded, probably 100% on the draft. And I'm actually looking forward. I've been doing a lot of studying, a lot of tape work. I'm moving down my list, hitting the prospects that I'm trying to hit. It's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of tape study when you're trying to scout 300 different prospects, but it needs to be done. And in doing so, I'm having a lot of fun. I'm coming across guys that I wasn't anticipating would stand out to me, and I'm falling in love. Guys, I have a confession. I'm falling in love with some draft prospects. It's draft crush season, baby. And, you know, you start thinking like, ooh, what would that guy look like in a Niner jersey? How would he look like fitting in with this team? And then you're like, man, 49ers probably aren't in range. Can they trade up? I don't know. We're going to talk about all that. We're going to get into that good stuff. But draft season is about to heat up, I would say, pretty heavy after this week. And I'm actually looking forward to it because I'm doing a lot of homework, guys. Doing a lot of homework, trying to be prepared, trying to give you guys the best info possible on potential prospects that the 49ers could draft. But before we get into the draft stuff, let's react to the Arik Armstead stuff. So if you are not familiar with what we're talking about or just catching up to speed, or you know exactly what I'm talking about, here's our little refresher course. So as we know from yesterday, Arik Armstead teased this podcast episode on it's actually his new channel, Third and Long. Go check it out. And he said that he was going to basically reveal what the situation was that led to his release and him signing with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And so when that came out, I was like, oh, this is going to be spicy because we don't hear this type of information from players like this. This isn't normal to be able to get an inside look, and especially this soon after these situations go down. So this is unprecedented, honestly. I've never seen this before in all my years of covering the 49ers and watching crazy contract situations play out. Guys get cut, released, et cetera, et cetera. You never actually get the player side of it right after the fact. So this was very interesting episode. I would definitely say go check it out. It's worth a watch. Gives you a little bit of an insight into the thought process from the player perspective and kind of how he went through the whole situation. So to kind of catch you up to speed in the short term, essentially what had happened was the San Francisco 49ers had told Arik Armstead that they wanted to keep him a 49er forever and that he would likely be getting a contract extension. Sounds great, right? Arik Armstead heading into this year was looking for a contract extension as well. So he was hoping to play himself into a contract extension, a big time one, and hopefully remain with the San Francisco 49ers. As we know, he gets hurt in the middle of the year, tears his meniscus, plays the whole postseason on a torn meniscus, and actually was balling out in the postseason. Well, as it came after he knew this was coming in the sense of they were going to be talking about, future negotiations for his future with the team. And Arik Armstead revealed that the 49ers submitted a contract for a 1-year, $6 million deal. For comparison's sakes, that's kind of around, I think it might be even less, but that's kind of around what Javon Kinlaw got from the New York Jets. Um, so there was an incentive built in that he could get up to 8 million in that deal. And I'm curious, as a fan of the 49ers, you might not be a fan. I know a lot of people are fans of the 49ers and, you know, move through players, whatever. You're either helping us or you're not, right? So I'm curious if you feel that Arik Armstead was disrespected, because that's what he said. He said once he received that deal, he said that he felt extremely disrespected by it. Do you think he is in the right in feeling disrespected, or do you think that was fair? I've seen a lot of comments that said that a 1-year, $6 million deal for Arik Armstead is generous. I think someone even said extremely generous, which is really funny to me. But again, you're entitled to feel how you feel. I want to see how the chat feels about this. Um, because if we're all being honest with ourselves, and I think if we all truly understand how this game works, that's not a generous contract. That's not a generous contract at all. He didn't even mention the guarantees involved, and what that might look like. Um, so I I think it was surprising to hear that it was that value. Um, hey, I'm with you here. I wish someone would disrespect me with 6 million as well. But we also have to understand that this is in the grand scheme of the NFL. This isn't real. This isn't real life. This isn't real life. This is in the context of the NFL, what the NFL players are making, all those different types of things. And I'll tell you exactly what I think. I do think it was disrespectful. I totally understand. I understand his stance. I get it. Um, I understand probably from the 49ers perspective, if that's the deal that they were going to offer, that they were absolutely prepared to probably move on from Arik Armstead, and that they were ready. They were ready to make that change. Um, I think if there's anything that we've learned, I don't think Arik would have accepted that. And I would assume that the 49ers knew he wouldn't accept that. From Arik Armstead's perspective, he said that he gave them the opportunity to up the offer. Sounds like it didn't happen. And he asked for his release. I can't blame him. I really can't. I can't blame him at all. 1 year, 6 million for a player of his caliber. I think the only knock I can really give Arik Armstead is his availability. That's really about it. Availability and age. I think that's about it. because I think he's 30, 31 years old. Those would be my only perceived knocks on Eric. Outside of that, when you talk about leadership, you talk about the way he prepares, you talk about what he does on the field, all those different types of things. I thought he was a great player for the 49ers. And I thought he played great ball throughout the postseason as well. So from the perspective of what he's done, understanding that yes, injury, age are absolutely a consideration for the San Francisco 49ers. I do think 1 year, 6 million is very when I heard it, I said, "Oh." when 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 I heard Eric say that, he was like, "Yeah, they offered me 6 million." I said, "Ooh, boy." So I get it. I get it. And guess what? He bet on himself, asked for his release, and he signed a 3-year, $43.5 million deal with $28 million guaranteed. So he bet on himself. He won. Balky paid him. Goes to Florida. No taxes. Makes sense. I get it. Hey, and if the 49ers were done with Eric, then they're done with Eric. This is why the offseason is such a differentiating position than the regular season, because it's not football anymore necessarily. It's business. It's business time. These are different conversations. It's different evaluations, and you're talking a lot of money. So with him going out, I get it. I understand. I'm not holding any hard feelings for Arik Armstead asking for his release. I understand why he would ask for his release, and he proved his theory right in asking for his release, because the theory was that he believed he was more valuable than that, and he was right. You know, I what's the saying? One man's trash is another man's treasure. Um, and so hey, the 49ers, I think, made it clear that this was an outcome that they were potentially willing to accept, and that's what happened. So what I think is that, did Eric Armstead get lowballed by the 49ers? Absolutely he did. For sure. For sure. I don't think it's much of a question. Regardless if you like Eric Armstead or not, absolutely. 6 million, that's crazy. And for anyone who's saying it's too much or that's generous, you just don't like Eric. That's a different conversation. If we're having an objective conversation about the business of football and how that stuff works, that's low. That's a low figure. It's a very low figure. And so it makes sense. Uh, and that resulted in them parting ways. So again, multiple perspectives here. From Eric Armstead's stance, makes sense. Yeah. He felt very slighted by that from the sounds of it, and I understand that. I would imagine if you found yourself in a situation where you were hired by an employer and you have been with them for 10 years, and you had made your way up to high level management, you've been making a lot of money, all those different types of things, and they come to you and say, you know what, we want you to do the same things. We want you to be the man. We still want you to be the same role, same responsibilities. We're just gonna cut your salary 75%. I guarantee you guys would have the same tone. But I get it. Your fans, your players, or your fans of the 49ers. A lot of people don't care about the players, don't care about this stuff. Um, it's kind of like, whatever, good riddance. They look at the stat sheet. Oh, how many sacks did he have? Oh, whatever. It's fine. I get it. I get that not all fans watch tape. I understand all fans don't understand the nuances of interior defensive line play and what that entails and why he does provide a value and why he presents um a why he was a quality player and why now and I want to say this I want to lean into the mic and say this because I've been hinting at it for about a week and a half now. But interior defensive line now becomes one of the 49ers' biggest needs heading into the draft. So if and when potentially the San Francisco 49ers take a interior defensive tackle at pick 31, I just want you to be prepared for it and not be surprised when they don't go offensive tackle. And in fact, they draft a defensive tackle at pick 31. I want to present the full context to you guys so that you understand um, what this implication means moving forward. Okay. If you are okay with not paying Arik Armstead, letting him walk, listen, the 49ers have a lot of people to pay. So not paying Arik Armstead, I can understand from the 49ers perspective. Eric, you know, you got to pay Ayuk. Brock's right around the corner. Will they pay Talanoa? There's still a lot of contracts coming up. So if they didn't want to pay Eric, that's fine. That's business. So they didn't. Both things can be true. Both things can be true. Eric can feel disrespected, ask for his release, and be justified in that. The 49ers can be absolutely justified in not giving him a contract extension. Both things can be true. So it is what it is. And so we get a little bit of the behind the scenes. And I found it to be very interesting, to be honest. Very interesting. And so, hey, we got what it is. Welcome to the business of football, ladies and gentlemen. If you are a casual observer who just kind of follows along and you don't really pay attention to this aspect of it, welcome. It might give you a little bit of insight into maybe how the Brandon Ayuk contract negotiations are going. But I digress. Corey says Balky saw that torn meniscus. Wow. This is a phenomenal super chat. Balky saw that torn meniscus and couldn't contain himself. Definitely wish Armstead the best. Man, first super chat of the day coming in with a fat W. That's hilarious. Balky's just, he's like, first of all, Balky drafted Eric, and then he was like, he's coming off a torn meniscus. He starts licking his lips, rubbing his hands together. He said, "You know what? He's coming off a torn meniscus. Hey, let's give him a little bump. Let's give him a little raise." He said, "How much was he making with the Niners? $18 million per year." The taxes, right? They got a lot of taxes over there. Let's give him $17 million per year off a torn meniscus. Hey, shout out to Eric. Eric won. Hey, and the 49ers, they were able to designate him as a post June 1st cut. They're going to get about $18 million in free cap space. I would say the only way that the 49ers could have won was that they actually traded Arik Armstead and got something in return and just didn't flat out release him. But hey, if that's the decision to be made, that's the decision to be made. Um, did he really win? Yes, he really won. He got paid and isn't paying state income taxes. But yeah, Bulky saw the torn meniscus on a guy that he drafted. He said he's like, "Hey Joan from payroll, it's time. Cook up the contract. Send it over to Eric's people stat." Hey, good for Eric, man. He got paid. He bet on himself and he won. He said, "I'm going to test the open market," and he won. But that's a hilarious comment. That's phenomenal. Thank you for that super chat. That was fantastic. That was absolutely fantastic. I think he knows, and the 49ers know his best days are behind him, so he wanted to go get the last big deal. Yeah, he did. He got that's what he said in the that's what he said in the podcast. He said that heading into this season that he was looking for a 4-year, $80 million contract at the end of it. So were the 49ers going to pay Arik Armstead a 4-year, $80 million contract if he came out, made the Pro Bowl, had an all-pro season? I don't know. I think even if Arik Armstead stays fully healthy, played his butt off, I still don't think the 49ers are paying him that deal. Just for the simple fact of their books that they've already paying so many other players, and they have some players coming up. So I think this was partially inevitable. I didn't envision Arik not being on the team. I figured he would have stuck around. But kind of after what we've heard, with what he was looking for, clearly where the 49ers were looking, it kind of felt like this was going to happen regardless of what happened this past year. So, yeah, that's why I think the 49ers are probably going to turn to the draft for an interior defensive tackle in the first 2 rounds. I think that's something that we really need to keep an eye out for. So he got the bag. He bet on himself. It wasn't what he had initially wanted, but hey, that's probably going to be his last big contract. And he got it. And the 49ers clear up some space. They obviously don't lock down Arik for an additional 4 years. And now they can turn to the draft, and they can get younger and cheaper. So, any hard feelings? Maybe Arik. I think Arik was a little off put by that situation, and rightfully so. But again, like we've talked about, business is business. He was able to get the release, got the money. Good for him. 49ers now able to get younger, cheaper. So that's the way we move. And that's how we go. So that being said, though, that can kind of transition us into this draft conversation. Is that now I want to ask you guys this question, because I've already kind of again, I'm not a big, like, when I say my thoughts, they're normally not for everyone, because I take 20 minutes to explain my thoughts. I don't just say like punchline things. But the punchline thing is that interior defensive tackle now might be the biggest need for the 49ers? Because I truly don't believe that Malik Collins and Kevin Givens and Jordan Elliott are suitable replacements for Arik. For everyone who's, saying whatever they're saying about Arik, if you don't value Arik as a player, that's up to you. But from my perspective and my evaluation standpoint, I don't think the 49ers got better at defensive tackle. I think they got worse. And when you look at the 49ers struggles last year, with Arik out in stopping the run, it became a challenge. So if the 49ers get worse with Arik leaving, then that to me says, well, defensive tackle at 31 could be an option, like a big time option. I think everyone's so dead set on drafting offensive line that you could make the case that defensive tackle is a bigger need than offensive tackle right now. So that is going to be the very interesting way that this all plays out. But with that being said, would you guys trade up for an offensive lineman? Even though I do think defensive tackle is going to be a big need, I'm still right there with some of you. I would love to get one of these premier offensive linemen. I would love to get I would love to trade up to go get one of these offensive linemen. I think if the 49ers stay at 31, there's a really good chance they go defensive tackle or cornerback. I really do. I know that's not what anyone wants to hear, and I apologize for saying that to you because that's not what you want to hear. But if the 49ers stay at 31, I really do think they could take cornerback or defensive tackle, maybe even edge, if a guy like Chop Robinson potentially falls that far. But if they're going to go O-line, I feel like I want to go all in. I want to get a blue chipper. If that's what we're going to do, I want to get a blue chipper. So for me right now, my blue chipper is Troy Fautanu. This guy is just an absolute dog. I think he had his pro day today. All 32 teams were represented. I'm trying to find more information on who exactly was at the University of Washington's pro day, because I really want to know. I want to know who was there. Are they looking at my boy? Are they looking at my boy Troy? Are they looking at this guy? Woo. Look at him. I think this guy has unicorn qualities. And people, I think, are kind of potentially not looking him at like that because he isn't 6'6", 320 pounds. But to me, Troy has unicorn qualities. And you might be like, what the heck? Why are you comparing an offensive lineman to a unicorn? In my opinion, Trent Williams is a unicorn. He's a mythical creature. He is a rare being that you don't see. I think this guy has big time unicorn qualities because I think he can be an all-pro caliber player at all 5 positions. And I'm also someone who is very adamant about not just flipping guys right to left, but I see the requisite traits from him that he can play on either side of the line. He's enough of an athlete that he would definitely be able to figure it out, and he can play at any position. He has the technique to be able to be a quality tackle already in the league. And then on top of that, um, he can kick inside and he could play all the way down to center. So if you're going to trade up, I would love to trade up for one of these guys, a guy like Troy. Now, I still haven't done full studies on Alt or Fashanu, so I'm excited to see how he compares to those guys once I get into their tape. Because I haven't been of the mindset that the 49ers are going to trade up. That hasn't been my mindset. So I've been actually trying to scout the guys that I think are going to be there at 31s, the Jordan Morgans, the Kingsleys, the Bartons, those kinds of guys I've been doing my homework on, but I'm starting to look into the top prospects now to be like, well, do we make a move? Because you're going to have potentially 4 quarterbacks go in the top 10. You're potentially going to have 3 wide receivers go in the top 10, probably 2 for sure. And then you're probably going to have 2 offensive tackles go in the first. So Alt Fashanu probably going in the first. Odunze, Harrison, and Neighbors all have a chance to go in the top 10. Obviously, we know the quarterbacks are. So that's gonna shove. That's gonna shove some really quality talent down. So that 10 to 15 range could be the sweet spot where you're still getting top 5 caliber guy in 10 to 15 because the quarterbacks are going to push them down. And then the wide receivers, listen, we're not going to get one of the big 3 wide receivers. Probably going to miss out on Brian Thomas, Adonai Mitchell. We're not going to get those guys most likely. And even if I don't see the 49ers trading up for a wide receiver to begin with. So if you can move into 10, I would say 11 through 15, because the cutoff is the Seattle Seahawks picking at 16. Seattle, to me, if they get Troy, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it. Don't let Troy go to Seattle. Seattle, of course, close proximity to Washington. Do not let Troy go to the Seahawks. Do not let, if you allow Seattle to get Troy, Seattle could have one of the best offensive lines in football. I don't want that. So you'd be there's 2 benefits. Obviously, you're getting a guy that you're putting on your squad, and then you're keeping him away out of your division. I don't think it just feels like he's not going to slide past. He's not going to slide past the Seattle Seahawks. So you got the Colts at 15. I would say that's where I try to trade up. If you could get to 15, somehow convince the Colts to trade back 31 spots, or not 31 spots, to 31. That's the hard part, is who wants to go back to 31 when you're sitting in the top, 10 to 15 bracket? The answer is no one, most likely. So you would really have to make the deal worth it if you want to go and get it. So we'll see. I could see if Michael Penix going to Seattle at 16 though. What are our thoughts on that? Michael Penix, Seattle at 16. Doesn't have to start right away. Can sit behind Geno, get acclimated. Probably supplant Geno halfway through the season. I don't know. I could see it. Just take him. Take him. We're in that part of the off season where we start. Justin knows we start dreaming about prospects that we have no chance in getting. Um, but that's what we do because all that good stuff. Uh, wasn't McGlinchey a blue chipper? No, I wouldn't consider McGlinchey a blue chipper. McGlinchey was a very good run blocker. He has always had question marks as a pass blocker. Um, to me, a blue chipper is, at least from an offensive line standpoint, is a guy who can do both. There's no you're not pigeonholed into a run first offense. You can your quality in the run, your quality in pass protection, your quality with technique, and your quality with physical traits. Um, I would not. I felt like that class, because it was Colton Miller and McGlinchey in the first. I don't think if you had to stack McGlinchey against Alt Fashanu, Fuaga, Fatanu, Latham, he probably goes after them. He probably would be like the 6th or 7th in this class, in my opinion. I still think he would be sought after, but I don't think it would be at the level of what this current class is. I think he would probably be in that kind of Jordan Morgan territory, end of the first in this class. And that's based on like what I remember from scouting him. That's not based on like what he's done in the NFL. Because I remember scouting him and remembers like, I'm like, oh, he's a really good run blocker. Has a little bit of questions in the passing game, and I think that kind of came to fruition a little bit. But still, hey, shout out Mike, dude. Mike got paid $87 million. Woo! Good for him. Justin says DT is a downgrade. Arik, DT is a downgrade. Arik, if there was some way we could get Fautanu and Johnny Newton, damn it, sign me up. So Justin has been on Jimmy Neutron. I don't know, every time I see Johnny Newton, I think Jimmy Neutron. Again, ADHD brain, I apologize. I got to do my homework on him. I started doing my homework on second round defensive tackles. And again, as the week has progressed, I'm like, I gotta do first round defensive tackles. Oh, for Arik. DT is a downgrade for Arik. Gotcha. DT is a downgrade for Arik. If there was some way we could get Fautanu, Johnny Newton, damn it, sign me up. Absolutely. Absolutely. If you could somehow trade into 1 through 15 and keep 31, that would be nice. That would be nice for sure. But with, like I said, the propaganda that I'm starting to spread is to get prepared for defensive tackle at 31. I need to do my homework on first rounders. Aponte did an interview with Mike Tannenbaum. He's a former New York Jets general manager. I think he either had a mock or he said that he thinks the 49ers are going to take Braden Fisk at 31. I've been taking Braden Fisk at 63 on the pipe dream that he somehow sticks around in that second round range, but I don't know if he's going to. I really don't know if he's going to. That I think Braden Fisk might be arguably the biggest riser in this draft process because I believe he started, coming once the season was over. I believe he was like fourth, fifth round, maybe third round in some rankings. But Braden might be your biggest riser. He might sneak into the first. He might. And again, if you haven't watched Aponte's interview, I would definitely go check it out because what Tannenbaum said makes sense. And Tannenbaum, again, I don't want to steal all of Aponte's thunder. Go to his channel, check out the video. But there's a connection there with Kosurik and what he wants, and Fisk fits that. So DT 31, y'all down? Are you gonna lose your mind? I would say probably lose your mind, but I'm very curious. I'm so excited about this draft that we have a first round pick, and the fact that we could even talk about a trade up, fantastic. Can I say that first? Can I say that just the concept of that we can sit here right now, a month out from the draft, and talk about trading up into the middle of the first for a guy that we like, and just being able to talk about it in the sense that we're not trading up from the third. we 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 can actually talk about it. Ah, man, feels good. Feels good to be back. And it's been a rough off season so far, just because we know what happened at the end of the year. But now that we're like through free agency, we have a clear understanding of the holes on the roster. We can start really attacking. The draft and these prospects and how we would build it out. I think there's a clear delineation between how we would build it out versus how the 49ers are going to build it out. That's crystal clear every single year. So I just want to make that crystal clear that when I'm talking trade up, I'm talking more of like, this is what I would like to do. This was what I would try to do. This was what I would, I would be annoying the hell out of John Lynch. Just come on, John. What do we got to do to get Fautanu? Come on, John. What do we got to do? Whose pockets do we got to grease? How do we get up there to take this guy? I would be that annoying pest in this process. And he'd be like, Brad, shut up, man. Like, we're not getting him. We're not moving up. We're not trading that much. Be quiet. I'm like, no, I can't. I can't do it. But hey, the 49ers have a lot of draft picks. Think about it like this. The window is now, right? The window is now this year. So what better year to actually invest in trading up and targeting the guy you want that you think is going to make an impact this year than a year where you need to get cost controlled and this is a big year for the Super Bowl run. Once Brock gets paid, I think the Arik Armstead thing, I think that's the tip of the iceberg. It's a tip of the iceberg with some potential roster moves that could be happening. So this might be the year to make a ballsy trade. Scared money don't make no money. Hey, you traded up for Trey Lance, you missed. Oh well. Scared money don't make no money. Keep going. Don't stop. Don't play it conservatively. Scared money don't make no money. Keep going. Keep betting on yourself. Sooner or later, you're going to hit the jackpot. So I'm for it, man. I'm for it. Go all in. Go all in. Make this draft exciting, man. Mac Daddy says we need to get faster at defensive tackle anyways. I think it was a good move. We saw Eric's ceiling, and to be honest, it wasn't that high anymore. Yes, trade up. I'm just afraid Kyle doesn't value O-line that much. I agree with you. I don't think Kyle values offensive line that much. That's why, and again, I say that. I say I agree that Kyle doesn't value offensive line that much. They have made a lot of investments in the offensive line. I have to say this every time I say that because it feels like they don't value offensive line, but in all honesty, they have shown to us they have. They've taken an offensive lineman in the top 10 of the draft before. They've traded for multiple offensive linemen. They traded for Trent. They traded for Lakin. They've spent big money on offensive linemen in free agency, whether Weston Richburg or Alex Mack. They've used draft capital in Aaron Banks and Burford and Jalen Moore and McKivitz. So I do think they value offensive line. I just don't know if it's through that value, it's where we want it to be. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. I think they value offensive line. I just don't think it's landed where they've hoped it would land. I think it's been enough. I mean, they just went like guys, like obviously we know the 49ers lost the Super Bowl, but if they won the Super Bowl with that offensive line, the conversation would be a lot different around the offensive line. And because Feliciano goes down, Spencer Burford struggles, and the defense took advantage of that issue. It put a highlight on to the offensive line that it's an issue because we associate losing the Super Bowl with the offensive line. But I think it's also important to remember that Trent, Banks, Brendel, Feliciano, and McKivitz are back. And like Kyle talked about, there absolutely is a world that does exist where those guys do improve. Now, I will say it did feel like Brendel regressed a little bit. I think he started out on fire. I would say Brendel's first 2 games, I was like, "Oh, hell yeah." And then he kind of he regressed a little bit, for sure. But I think Burford was just struggling with consistency. And then when they plugged in Feliciano, they got more consistent. And then they had holes at guards. I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just trying to say that I do think the 49ers would run it back with the guys that they have. So we'll see how that plays out. Justin says I'm pushing the Johnny Newton, aka Jimmy Neutron agenda. Fisk is 24. Oh, I didn't know that. Byron Murphy is 26 years old? Are you serious? I just have to see that for myself. He's 26? Is he really 26? That's crazy old. It says he's 21. Oh, am I reading it wrong? Well, it says Byron Murphy's 21 and a half. But Newton is only 21. He's going to get much better. The Fisk thing, I know he is a transfer. Fisk is, how old are you, Fisk? I'm definitely an ageist when it comes to this draft stuff. I'm not for drafting like 24-year-olds. If we cannot, I would prefer it. I would prefer to get a couple more years. Why isn't it showing me his age? Yeah, Fisk is 24. Fisk is 24. So he turned 24 in January. So he'll be turning 25 in the playoffs. Ooh, 25 in the playoffs. Okay, so you make a point there with Fisk. I saw that Byron Murphy. Remember, there's two Byron Murphys. Maybe you looked up the cornerback Byron Murphy, and he's 26. Let me double check. Yes, the cornerback Byron Murphy's 26. The cornerback Byron Murphy's 26. Okay, we've cleared it up. But no, the point remains. Your point remains. I'm fully lockstep with your point of Fisk being 24, turning 25 in the playoffs. Second round. I don't want to take a guy who's going to be 25 in his first year in the playoffs. That means his first contract. He's 28. Nah, not in the first round. I'm an ageist. I apologize. If this is your first draft season with me, I'm an ageist. I'll take him in the second. I don't want to take him in the first. Give me guys that you can grow with and that you can flip into a second contract at their peak. That's what I want. That's the way that I look at it, is that if you can get me 2021 and they have their quality players, that means one, they're going to improve, they're going to get better, they're going to mature physically and mentally, and that means you can still develop them. So that when they hit their peak at 24, 25, then you're paying them the big time contract, and then you are paying them peak dollars on top of peak performance. That's the way that I look at it. I want to get my second contract to match their highest level of play. So that's why I'm an ageist when it comes to the draft. I don't want a 24-year-old in the first round. So your point remains. So that's good to know. I didn't even think about it like that. So great point. Cynthia says, excellent show as always, Brad. Sorry, I'm still hurt over the Super Bowl. I hope we go all in the draft too. Hey, we're all hurting, man. We're all hurting. I don't know anyone who's a 49er fan who is not hurting still from that Super Bowl loss. Hey, but it is what it is. We got to keep moving forward. So it is a challenge for sure. It's just one of those things. We gotta put on a brave face and go through our day like we're not in excruciating heartache. over what just transpired about a month ago or 2 months ago. Oh, it hurts so good. Hurts so good. Ah, Brad would cover the Niners for free. This is true. This is true. I genuinely love what I do. Um, I genuinely love what I do. So I would cover the 49ers for free. It literally, if you just let me around the team, if you just let me be around football, I would do it for free. I'm smart enough to figure out how to monetize it, but you wouldn't have to pay me. You give me the access, I'll figure it out from there. But yeah, 100% I would do it for free. I love this. I love this game. I do. I love football. I really do. Um any new additions to the 49ers room there, Brad? I don't think so. I might need to update. I updated my credential, like my credential thing is getting pretty robust. That one I'm proud of. I like being able to build up the credential tree. My goal eventually, hopefully, is just to have massive amounts of credentials. Um, so my credential uh collection is picking up. I've added the plaque as well. Outside of that, I could use some more jerseys. I haven't bought a new jersey in a long time. I could definitely do that. Have I looked at cornerbacks yet? No. Outside of like some mid-round cornerbacks, I have not. Like I've looked at DJ James, but I've been really trying to focus on the trenches. I've been really just trying to get through. There are so many there's so many offensive linemen and there's so many now I have to focus on defensive tackle as well. I'm just trying to get through those guys. I start to scout other positions when I'm building out my mocks, because I have to know who I'm selecting, which is how I land on some of like the mid late round guys. But for the most part, uh, so we'll see. I agree with this. SDS internet scouts around the world will come together to find the best possible prospect for the organization. Also, I just want to shout out Tony. Every day that I was at the NFL Combine, he would send me a super chat on a video for breakfast. So shout out to Tony, man. That was super cool. Literally every day I would wake up and Tony would be like, boom, super chat for breakfast. I'm like, my guy, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it again. I appreciate all you guys send super chats. I appreciate all you guys who just watch my videos, engage with the content, like the content, watch it. Like you guys are awesome, man. And again, it's painful because of what we just went through. So I appreciate it. I appreciate all of it. Shout out to my guy Tony. I don't think I've thanked him publicly for essentially buying me breakfast every day during the combine. It's very helpful. It's very helpful. I appreciate it. I really do. So that was cool. I'm just going through some of the older comments that I might have missed, just to see if there's uh, anything I missed. Justin said I was legit impressed with Brad's snowboarding. Hey, I made that video while snowboarding down the mountain after like my second run, so I was like not totally like confident, locked in yet, but we've definitely picked it up later on down the day. We turned it up. I'm an anomaly. There's not many big boys who shred like me. That's a fact. Matthew, oh, is this what it was? What that other comment was in response to? Brad, would you feel disrespected if the Niners offered you 6 mil this year to cover the absolutely not. Why would I be disrespected by that? I'd be like, yes, please. Do you need my routing information and my account number? I would not be disrespected uh at all. At all. Shout out my guy, man. Appreciate you, dog. Uh yes, sir, Roberto. My guy Roberto says, I know you love football, Brad. You be grinding. I cry. That's the one thing about like ADHD is like I can't do things that I don't want to do. Like if any of you guys have ADHD, you know how difficult it is to do things that you don't want to do. It's like your brain like stops itself from allowing you to accomplish things that you don't want to do. But when you genuinely like what you do and you genuinely love what you do, it doesn't feel like work. It feels like yes, it's work. It's work when I spend 14 hours a day grinding 49ers content. But at the end of the day, it's like I wake up and I'm like, I got to talk about football today. Like, that's not bad. Like today, you know, still kind of like feeling the stuff from the Super Bowl. And it's like, you know what am I tripping about? I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna make some 49ers content. That's not bad. That's not bad. So I appreciate everyone. Appreciate all the support. I know it's tough times. I know there are a lot of people too who have completely tuned out from 49ers content and 49ers football. And I understand you're protecting your mental health. So shout out to all of you who handle your mental health just going head on and just staying locked in no matter how painful it is. I got a question for you guys though. I got a question. It's totally peak off-season content debate stuff. I love this conversation because I want it to happen. Y'all rocking with the throwback jerseys? Y'all rocking with the throwback jerseys? Bro, I would love to see these. I think if you could put like a modern little tweak on it to bring back these like 90, was it like 96, 97, like 96 on? Um, I know that era isn't something that we like to remember too fondly, but I think in seeing this revamped a little bit, um, I think it would be clean. I think it would. So my thing is I want to see all these alternates. I wish the NFL would just open up the floodgates like they do in college football, where all these teams could just bring back all the retros, could tweak and come up with new concepts, even if it's like for one game, different helmets. Like, oh gosh, I would love it. I would love to see like the uniform game take it up a notch, kind of like how college football does it. And I'm like, well, why wouldn't they? They would just make more money. That sounds right up the NFL's alley. You would just create more jersey sales, more apparel sales. So I don't know. I'd love to see those jerseys. Love to see those. They're so good. I'll open it up for a little Q&A. If you guys have any questions, comments, I think I got through all the super chats. Shout out to everyone who sent a super chat today. Shout out Corey. Shout out Mac Daddy. Shout out Justin. Shout out Cynthia. Shout out Roberto. Appreciate all the super chats, especially during the off season. Woo-hoo! It's slowing down a little bit. So it is appreciated. So if you do have any questions, comments, feel free, drop them in. I'll try to get to them. Lad McConkey. I haven't watched him yet, but people love Lad. Even Ayuk commented on Lad. He's like, yeah, Lad's for real. So I think that's the sentiment across the league is like, he can play. So I haven't watched him yet. Like I said, this is a painfully slow process of trying to scout every individual player. And like I said, I'm in the offensive line. I'm literally in the trenches right now scouting, because I really want to have a good base of the trenches. I have full scouting. Like I've scouted so far. I've scouted Morgan, Kingsley, Latham, Mims, Fautanu, some other guys that are later I've scouted too, but I'm not going to name drop them yet because I want to do some profiles on them. But I need to branch out a little bit, start doing some skill positions for sure. Skill positions for sure. Appreciate you, my boy. Appreciate you. Let's see. Rakestraw just ran a 4.440 with a 4 flat shuttle. Was coming off groin surgery. Oh, I feel like he has first round consideration, but I feel like that's kind of been the case on him for a while. The only Kingsley tape that I had was from 2022 when he played right tackle. So I saw him a little bit at right tackle. I had to do some YouTube. I have a phenomenal. I've got a lot of film, but for whatever reason, they are skimped with BYU tape. So I've gotten enough. I need to do more on Kingsley, but I have a baseline on Kingsley. His movement skills, his pass protection, he's pretty solid. I'm not finished with my eval on Kingsley, but I had to kind of reverse. The reason why I haven't done a highlight on him is because I'm still hunting down the tape. I've seen him at right. I want to see him at left, more at left. So I'm still searching for that. So, but like I said, April, man. One of the things I like about Kingsley too is that he's very young. He's 21, right in that range, like we talked about. He's a guy that's going to improve and get better. So the thing with Kingsley is, again, when you're scouting, you're not scouting who they are now. You're scouting who you think they will be. You're scouting who that you think. You have to treat what your eval is right now like a baseline eval, and you have to try to project out the areas in which you think they will improve. And that's really, evaluation is more of a projection, I say, because you have to project out, what are they going to do in 3 years from now? What are they going to continue to develop and mature into? And if you're scouting guys for what they are now, there's a good chance you're going to miss on some. You're going to miss on the developmental guys. You're going to miss on the guys that have high upside, because you're only seeing them for what they are now, but you're not able to project out where they can grow and where they can get better. So you have to be able to do that. You can't pigeonhole yourself into like, well, do you see him on tape? You're like, well, yeah, I see it. But you also have to project that he's going to improve, he's going to get better. And can that area in which he's struggling with right now, can he improve that? Can he add technique? Can he do something? So I think that's part where a lot of evaluators miss, is they're evaluating the guy that they see in front of them. They're not evaluating the guy who's going to be that guy starting in 3 years. I do think that is one of the challenges of draft evaluation, because you're trying to evaluate who he is now, but you're also trying to project out. You have to be able to project out. Have to be able to project out. I haven't watched Jackson Powers Johnson yet. Right now, I've watched Barton, and based on watching Barton, Barton is one of those technical dudes, like very fast, very quick, good feet, good base, good technique. Um, and I project him out as being able to add some more size. He looks like a guy who will be able to gain about 15 more pounds on his frame in muscle. So Barton, to me, again, I am very biased towards quicker, faster interior offensive linemen. I think I've made that clear, especially too with like talking about Fautanu. I would say Jackson Powers Johnson at first impression reminds me of like Creed Humphrey. And I wouldn't say Barton is a Creed Humphrey mold. He is more of a Cole Strange type, you know. One of the reasons why I liked Brunskill was wasn't because he was a prototypical offensive lineman, but because he had speed, he had good feet and good technique. And even though he was undersized, he knew how to win his way with technique, with speed. That's why he's Aaron Donald's daddy. Dan, like that's why there's two different evals I would say for interior guys. Like the guys that are power, the guys that are good at like digging out one techs and zero techs, and then you have your other guys that are like Jason Kelsey. You know, Jason Kelsey's a bit of both worlds, but he's a very athletic center. Um, and like I want my centers to be able to pull. That's what I really want. Um, Frazier is a guy that I definitely know. I know once I get into his tape, I'm gonna like. Um, I'm so like, again, this is part of the problem of playing the Super Bowl, is that I'm so behind on all the tape that if the 49ers weren't in the playoffs, I would have watched all of these guys by now. We would have watched all of them. I would have watched all of Jackson Powers Johnson. I would have watched all of them. But that's why I got a crunch right now. I got a crunch. Um, but with JPJ, I just haven't watched him. So I can't even give like an eval on him. Maybe that's what I'll do tonight. I know Justin's been talking about him for a while. So maybe that's what I'll do tonight. Maybe I'll watch some JPJ. I'll try to watch some JPJ tonight. Try to get some center. Uh, Again, I've been tackles, and then I get distracted by defensive tackles, and it's like, oh, get back to tackles, and then it's like, oh, but we gotta look at interior too. Like I just watched two interior offensive linemen today, two guards today that I think could be targets in the fourth, fifth round because I'm thinking that if the 49ers go interior, it could be fourth, fifth. Um, so that's kind of where I'm like trying to identify fourth, fifth rounders. Um, so we'll see. We'll see. But I might do some JPJ tonight. Might do some JPJ. Okay. Okay. JPJ versus Washington State. Let me see if I even got that tape. Let's see. Who am I looking for? I'm looking for Oregon. Oregon. Do I not have Oregon O-line tape? Oh, that's. Oh, no, I do. I was about to say. Okay, good. Okay. I do got Washington State. I got Washington State, Utah, Texas Tech, Oregon State. Beautiful. Beautiful. Hey, why not? When in Rome, right? Will it let me? Will it let me do it? Oh, when in Rome. When in Rome, just pull up the tape. Let's do it. Let's first impression. All right, JPJ, right there in the middle. I wasn't watching. Right here. Oh, whoa. Oh, hey. Hey-oh. That definitely looked like a little bit of a miscommunication. Oh, did he pancake someone there at the end, though? Something went wrong with that play. Oh, but he pancaked someone at the end? All right, I got to pay attention. Something went wrong here. But all right, get on your horse. Get on your horse. Oh, no, that was the time. Oh, yeah. Oh. Woo. Okay. You all right. You want to talk about first impression? First impression, what a whirlwind. Something went wrong. Like this is not at all. He's not supposed to do a little twirly whatever here. Like something went wrong, but okay, whatever. I'm on my horse. I'm hunting. Bang. All right. All right. We're talking first impressions. Okay, I immediately see the power. I immediately see the power. Uh I immediately see some of the nastiness. Looking for work on that one. Let's see. Let's see. He's there to pick up the stunt. Not a big deal. What else? What else? Play action. Ooh, too far. Hey, that first play though, that was fire. Is that Troy Franklin? Franklin is someone that I also want to watch. Troy Franklin, the Washington boys. Dude, Washington has so many good players on their offense. It's literally insane. Their entire offense is NFL players. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right, light work. That's not Troy. Troy's 11, right? Oh, but Washington State has a cornerback too that I've kind of been looking at. Oh, that's a whiff, but that's not crazy. Defensive line slanted away from him. I I I like the finish. Would like to see him get that head across to be able to cut off 52 a little bit more, but I still like the finish. That's where like an example of like having a fast center, you're hitting that angle. It's not that he's not fast, but you can see he's not slow either. He moves well. He moves good. Man, they leave him uncovered a ton. All right. Runs. Let's see a running play or something. All right. Outside shade. I don't like that play design. That's gross. What it does look like though is he does have a motor. Yeah, all these play actions. I don't love play action for evaluating offensive line. I'd prefer evaluating off straight pass set like that. Ooh, there's Troy. Or run blocking. Okay. Took him to the ground. Got a little tripped up, but still. All right. All right. So I would say first impression, he's not fast, but he's not slow. Meaning he's average, average speed, right? Like average speed. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not loving the offense here so far by Oregon. See, that's a good block right there. Now, there we go. We can break this down. All right, so he's gonna get an outside shade. All right, so this is a hard block. So effectively, I think, I mean, he's sitting right there in the A gap. He's probably more shaded on the guard than he is Johnson. Johnson's going to want to try to get his head across and then flip his hips around. He gets the head on the back, but he's still able to get the hips around and uses the power. Jeez, just to move him. That's a good block. That I think showcases his power. Yeah, I mean, that's hard to do what he just did. To kind of be in this leverage and then flip the dude. It's pretty good. I'm definitely seeing the power. Yeah. There are levels to movement for big guys. There's different tiers. Like, and again, like I've talked about, Barton moves the best, I would say, out of the interior guys that I've watched so far. Um, but also you have to keep in mind, man, you got to have power. You gotta have power as a center to be able to dig out these defensive tackles. You can't get pushed around. Whoo! Woo! Damn. Holy. He almost killed his Oh my god, he almost killed his right tackle. He sent this dude flying. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so the power is there. Watch the shoulder. Bro. Jeez. Yeah, this dude's powerful, man. When he gets hands on, he's flying. You see that? He knocked that dude. One more time. Right here. Bink. Holy shit. Damn, that was crazy. That shit's funny as hell. I hope his tackle's okay. Damn. Oh, ooh. Yeah, there's the power. What isn't it? Doesn't he have power in his name? Jackson Power Johnson? Like, that's fitting because I would say that's the trait that is standing out to me the most at first glance, first impression, is that he has got strength. He is getting these guys on the ground with relative ease when he gets hands on. All right. All right. Yeah, look at that. Look at the power. All right, JPJ. I see the power. Watch him wall this off and just drive him out. Okay. All right. Okay. We see it. We see it. All right, let's finish with the touchdown. Oh, I don't know what happened there. It got dirty in those trenches. Let's take a look. Okay. He's right here. Looks like a double. Maybe trying to get over the top to backer. Oh, he just gets washed. There's a lot going on in there. Touchdown though. Did his job. All right. Okay. Okay. JPJ. Power. All right. So far I would say that JC Latham and JPJ are up there in the power rankings. Um uh, he doesn't look like he's going to move them that much, but man, when he gets his hands on these guys, they're going flying. So it's funny because we watched him toss that dude with the bags on at the combine. Um I I think that's just he's got power. He's got power for sure. All right. I'll do more homework. I got 4 games of his I can watch. So, I would definitely say Barton is much more technically advanced so far in what I've seen. Um, but Barton doesn't have that power element. Um, that's the drawback is Barton would have the upside with speed, technique, uh, that aspect of it. I would say pass blocking as well, but I would say that Barton definitely doesn't have that power. So I see it. He is strong. So I'm excited to actually see. I want to get a better eval on his technique. I don't feel like I got a good enough sample size of like what his technique really is. I feel like we got the power down. The power's there. He has the requisite ability to move in space. I would say I want to see the technique a little bit more. I want to see more one-on-ones in pass protection. I want to see him get to second level a little bit more, and a couple more reach blocks before I can give like a full eval on him. But the power, you can't teach that power. No. You can't teach that power. So he's got that. All right. I like it. So let's see what that tape looks like. Excited to get in his eval a little bit more and kind of complete the eval. But I like for good first impression. Good first impression. I wouldn't say I saw anything that would make me flip off having Barton ahead of him yet. But like I said, I wouldn't say that I saw enough to complete the eval just there. So still got things that I want to check off the list, but not bad. Not bad. That's a good first impression, dudes. And especially if you're looking for a gap scheme, like he's a gap scheme guy. Like if you're running traps, counters all day, every day, that looks like the center you want. Looks a little questionable for outside zone, but if you're running gap scheme, he's like, that looks like the dude you want. That looks like the dude is going to be digging out those zero techs for sure. He's only 21. Nice. We like that. We like that. One of my evals or one of my impressions of JPJ from the combine was he has no neck. Maybe that's where like the power comes from, because like the head and the shoulders are connected. So when he's hitting you, he's like a battering ram. He's got no neck, but I think that benefits him quite a bit. That like, you know, you don't have to worry about the neck getting all messed up because it's already kind of like boom. It's where the power comes from the no neck. It goes from ears to shoulders, and he just bah. He's a battering ram. That's funny. All right, cool. So I got some homework, but shout out to everyone again, as always. Shout out to all you guys. Send a super chat. Really appreciate it. Shout out to everyone who vibed on the channel. Smash the like button if you guys haven't already for me. That would be phenomenal. And what's tomorrow? Friday. All right. The scouting is underway, ladies and gentlemen. It's underway. And like I said, it's been a process to get into it, but we're into it. And we got some homework to do. It's there's a lot of prospects to get through. That's a lot of guys to get through. So and again, for me to feel like I have a complete eval, I want 3 games minimum. So we got some homework to do, baby. But I appreciate everyone as always for tapping in. We're gonna keep working, keep doing prospect breakdowns. Maybe we'll do some more live breakdowns as well. Especially once we get further into April and I can start putting together more cut-ups rather than just like watching the tape. I can just put together cut-ups, and then we can just start watching these guys work and see who we like, see who we don't, all that good stuff. So appreciate everyone as always. Grab your cookies on your way out. Appreciate you all. I'm out of here for now. Peace. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to